Liz Truss is back. Not literally, don't panic. Here is our former Prime Minister who dared to challenge economic orthodoxy by cutting taxes to boost growth, writing in today's Sunday Telegraph. It was a fascinating article. She wrote, "I'm not claiming to be blameless in what happened, but fundamentally I was not given a realistic chance to enact my policies by a very powerful economic establishment coupled with a lack of political support." She goes on to write, "We've not done enough to make the arguments for a lower tax, more deregulated economy. Ever higher taxes, an ever more restrictive regulatory regime, and historically high levels of state spending are the key underlying causes of our poor economic performance." She is, of course, absolutely right. Now, history will judge her communication skills in office harshly, but it will judge her message and her philosophy kindly. Former US President Ronald Reagan famously once joked, "The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help.'" When left unchecked, the state always grows with an insatiable appetite for the taxes of its citizens and control of their lives. If left unchecked, the state spreads like Japanese knotweed in your garden. And history teaches us that cutting it back is the mother of all economic and political challenges. Normally, it's a crisis that will see government reduce its footprint in our lives. After the economic chaos of the 70s and early 80s, Margaret Thatcher famously slashed taxes, tackled the unions and deregulated the economy, causing an economic boom. After the credit crunch in 2008-2009, the coalition government of 2010 embarked upon 5 years of what many called austerity, but what I call living within our means. To their credit, the budget deficit was reduced from 10% as a share of GDP to around 2% by the end of the decade, equipping us well for the forthcoming economic crisis of COVID. So how did they achieve it? Well, they reduced the size of the public sector, which had ballooned under New Labour. Huge cuts saw public sector jobs disappear. So why didn't unemployment explode? Well, because in that same 5-year period, 1 million new jobs were created in the private sector. Over 5 years, 1 million new jobs created in the private sector. The pandemic response has undone all of that good work, with an expanded and bloated public sector and an unprecedented expansion of the state in our lives, with politicians famously dictating our movements during COVID, stopping us from going out to work, masking our faces and pressurising us into vaccination. The messaging in particular from furlough was catastrophic, normalising the idea that the government will pay you to stay at home, bankrolling your life to the tune of 80% of your salary. This has created a population that thinks the government is responsible for their lives and their livelihoods. No, it ain't. It's an economic freak show. And mark my words, with the international bond markets already nervous about Britain, if we carry on like this, we will slide down the economic league table faster than a fat holidaymaker at a water park. It's no exaggeration to say that we could be Greece times 10. The pandemic has created a something-for-nothing culture, with the Mail reporting last month that more than 50% of Brits, that's right, more than 50% of Brits, receive more from the state in terms of benefits, pensions and public services than they contribute in taxes. This according to a report by the think tank Civitas. Now, this dependent figure was just a third of the population under Tony Blair and even lower under Margaret Thatcher. Now it's half, receiving more than they contribute. With a fast ageing population, how's that going to play out in the years to come? As it stands, in my view, Britain is becoming a failing business model, with millions of working-age adults not active in the economy, and with 800,000 young people recently saying they think they may never get a job. If left unchecked, a legacy of debt and decline beckons. The idea that the state can look after you from cradle to grave is a big fat lie. Forget about Brexit, forget about Liz Truss's mini budget. The elephant in the room is that the state is too big and we spend more than we've got. Our economy and our society needs a tough new culture in which it pays to work and one in which it doesn't pay to sit at home on your arse, watching Netflix and caning six-packs of Budweiser or San Miguel. Britain needs a dose of tough love. And if you don't like it, tough luck. Perhaps Liz Truss was right all along.